Hi guys, welcome to The Attic. My name's Mark Jago. I'm a philosophy professor in the UK. Today we are continuing with the Philosophy Glossary, trying to make sense of those difficult concepts and all of those isms you get in philosophy. Today we're going to be looking at behaviourism. Okay, so the first thing to say is behaviourism, there's basically two notions of behaviourism out there, both concerned with the mind. One is psychological behaviourism. This is really a theory about what psychologists should be up to. Behaviourism says they should be studying behaviour. That's not so much what we're going to be interested in. We're more interested in philosophical behaviourism. This is the idea that when we think philosophically about the mind, in understanding what the mind is, really we should be focusing on behaviour. I said it's a theory of what the mind is, but that's not really right. Behaviourism, philosophical behaviourism, really is a theory about language, the kind of language that we use to understand the mind. It's saying that when we talk about the mind, we don't want to be talking about internal operations, hidden, unobservable, unverifiable things. We want to be talking about observable, verifiable stuff to do with the mind, in other words, behaviour. So it's a theory about the meaning of mental language, the language we use to talk about the mind, and it's saying the meaning is given by the kind of behaviour that we go in for. So let me give you some examples. When we're talking about beliefs, say, the kind of beliefs that we have, not just about religion, but about anything, we're not talking about some hidden event going on inside somebody's brain, like a sentence being written in their brain or something like that. We're talking about the ways in which somebody is disposed to behave, right? So if I believe it's going to rain later, and also I don't want to get wet, I'm going to behave by staying inside or carrying an umbrella or whatever. The meaning of talking about that person's belief is basically given by the kind of behaviour they would be disposed to do. That's reasonably reasonable as a theory of belief, but behaviourism applies that to all aspects of the mind. So, for instance, pain, okay? How should we understand a concept like physical pain, the pain that you feel? Well, behaviourists say we should understand it in behaviouristic terms, or rather the meaning of the language that we use to talk about pain. It's not referring to something going on inside our head. It's talking about the way that somebody is disposed to behave, okay? So a term like toothache, what does that really mean? Well, it's somebody evincing toothache behaviour, saying, I've got a toothache, going to the dentist, that kind of thing. There's nothing to the meaning of that term beyond the way that somebody is disposed to behave. What's good about behaviourism? Well, it's meant to be taking the mystery out of the mind by kind of getting rid of these hidden internal events and instead talking about stuff that we can observe, we can meaningfully kind of point at, we can check it, it's meant to be verifiable. But that's kind of where the problems for behaviourism start, right? Because for one thing, it just doesn't seem like when we're talking about the way somebody feels inside that we're talking about the ways that they're going to behave. It just seems like the meanings are different. It's two different things. And secondly, these two things, the thing that we're talking about, the pain or the happiness or whatever, and the way that somebody behaves or is disposed to behave, they might come apart, right? You might be super stoical. You might feel really intense pain, but just not display any of it at all. You might be really happy on the inside and just not show any of it at all. And going the other way, you might feel none of those things on the inside, but you're a kid who wants to get the day off school, so you say, I've got a terrible toothache, okay? You don't feel it on the inside, so there is literally no pain there, but you behave as if there is, okay? So the behaviour and the feelings can come apart, so it doesn't seem like it's an easy way to analyse internal feelings in terms of straightforward behaviour. Behaviourism was a pretty popular theory, I guess, in like 50s and 60s of the 20th century. It's fallen out of favour for these kind of reasons, but behaviourism hasn't vanished entirely. It's most plausible in the case of contentful mental states, things like beliefs and desires, and it's still quite a useful way to think about those. Because just think about it like this. If, on the other hand, what we meant by having a belief is something hidden inside your brain, then how would I ever know what you really believe? On the other hand, if what we mean by a belief, if our analysis of belief has got something to do with the way we act, then your beliefs are in some way accessible to me. I can know what you believe, not just from you telling me, although you telling me is part of your behaviour as well, but I might be able to observe the way that you behave and infer from that what some of your beliefs are. Give you an example, somebody who behaves in a really racist way but says, I'm not a racist, what are we meant to think about that? Well, if we're going on what they say, we should say they don't have racist beliefs, but if they're behaving in a really racist way, we're more likely to say, actually this person does have racist beliefs, and they're just trying to cover it up, or they're confused about what they believe, or whatever. So if that's a good example of how we can infer what somebody believes based on their behaviour, then it looks like at least some parts of behaviourism are alive and well in philosophy of mind when we're thinking about contentful mental states, things like belief and desire. But the analysis of experiential states, things like feeling a pain or feeling happiness, very, very difficult to do that in the behaviouristic way. Okay guys, so there we have a super short overview of behaviourism. I hope you found it useful. If you've got any questions, leave me a comment down below. If you've enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. That really helps me out on YouTube. If you're enjoying these, I'm going to be doing plenty more, so you can subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon to get notifications, and I would love to see you back here for a bit more Philosophy Glossary.